Hi everybody, Rachel here today to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes that runners make and how to fix them. So the very first mistake that we often see is running with shoulders internally rotated, which is going to collapse your lungs. It looks like this, and this often happens when people start to get tired. So you'll be running and maybe your shoulders will start to roll forward. The reason why you want to avoid this is that when your shoulders are forward, it's collapsing your lungs. And that means 2 things. First of all, you're not getting enough oxygen as you should, and you're going to feel a lot more winded than you actually are. The second thing is when your shoulders are rolled forward, it's going to take you out of alignment. And as soon as your body gets out of alignment, that's where injuries happen. So the way that you will fix that is you will pull your shoulder blades down towards your back pockets. That's going to open up your chest, it's going to keep your shoulders above your hips, and it's also going to make you feel less winded. The second mistake that we often see is runners starting to look down. This looks a little different. It's when you start to tuck your chin. And again, this often happens when people get tired. It also happens with newer runners, especially if you're running on terrain that you're unfamiliar with. The mistake looks like this. Okay. Similarly, that again poses 2 issues. The first is where your head goes, your body goes. So if you're starting to tuck your chin, your hips are going to come out behind you, and that's going to take you out of alignment. So your hips are no longer over your ankles as they should be. The other thing that's going to happen when you tuck your chin, you're actually blocking off your airway. So again, you're not going to get enough oxygen. You're going to feel more winded than you actually are. And a really good cue for that is to think about keeping your chin parallel to the ground. When you're running, if you start to feel winded, you can always make an L. Put your thumb against your chest, rest your chin on top of that pointer finger, and that's going to make sure that your head is in alignment and that you're getting enough oxygen as much as you can. The third mistake is that we see a lot of unnecessary movement. And unnecessary movement is inefficient, means that you're using energy that's not being used towards moving you forward in your run. The biggest one that we see is some side-to-side movement. So you'll see people who are running and they're sort of twisting side to side. Looks like this. Okay. In addition to being inefficient, that's also going to make sure that you are not able to keep your body in alignment. And that is also, especially that side-to-side movement, where lower back injuries can happen. And so how we fix all of this is we make sure that we're in a good position with our body to begin with. Your pelvis is in a neutral position, pulling your rib cage down on top. You're squeezing your glutes from the back, enough to keep pressure on that pelvis so that it stays neutral. Shoulder blades pulled down towards your back pockets. Chin is parallel to the ground. And then below the waist, the only thing that we're going to think about is keeping your knees and your ankles relaxed. You should always be able to be springy on your knees and ankles. Your knees should never be locked out. Your ankles should never be locked out. And that's how to fix your 3 biggest run mistakes.